What would you do if the man sent to kill you was the same stranger whose life you once saved? Years ago, she stopped her car on a dark, lonely road to help a bleeding man she thought was a victim. She never learned his name, never saw his face clearly, never imagined that moment would come back for her. But he never forgot her. Not the warmth of her hands, not the sound of her voice telling him he wasn't going to die, not the way she looked at him like he was human when the world treated him like a weapon. Now he's the most feared hitman of a shadow organization, and she is his next target. But when he steps out of the darkness and their eyes lock for the first time in years, he realizes he can kill anyone except her. Stay with me. You're not ready for what comes next. If you love forbidden love, dangerous secrets and stories that make your heart race, subscribe now and hit the like button. You don't want to miss what's coming. Have you ever wondered how one single moment, one small act of kindness, can change the entire direction of your life without you even realizing it? How a decision you barely remember can become the reason someone lives or dies. She never thought twice that night. She was driving home after a long shift, the rain turning the asphalt into a dark river, the headlights cutting through the storm like fragile blades. And then she saw him, a man barely standing, his shirt soaked in blood. One hand pressed desperately against his side. Anyone else would have locked the doors and kept going. Anyone else would have called 911 from a safe distance. But she wasn't like anyone else. Something in her, instinct, compassion, or maybe destiny, made her stop, made her run toward danger, made her try to save a stranger. She wrapped her jacket around him, pressed her hands over the wound to stop the bleeding, whispered to him that help was coming. She didn't know he was a criminal. She didn't know he was running from death. She didn't know he was already living in a world where mercy didn't exist. She just saw a man, a life slipping through her fingers, and she fought to keep that life alive. But he remembered everything. He remembered the way her hands trembled but never pulled away. He remembered the warmth of her voice saying, "You're going to be okay." He remembered the way she looked at him with a softness he had never earned. And when he woke up in a makeshift clinic days, later the only memory he had was of her silhouette in the rain, her touch grounding him in a world built on blood. Years passed. He rose through the ranks of a secret organization so deadly that most people believed it didn't exist. He became a ghost, a shadow, a weapon pointed only at problems that needed to disappear. He forgot his old name, but he never forgot hers. And as fate would have it, the world has a cruel way of circling back. When he's handed a new target, a woman to be, eliminated quietly, efficiently with no trace left behind, he doesn't care until he sees the photo, until he sees her. The woman who once saved him from death. The woman who had no idea she'd saved the most dangerous man she would ever meet. And something inside him breaks. Something he thought was dead long ago. Now he must make an impossible decision, obey the order, or protect the woman who unknowingly became the only light he ever knew. And as the night of the assignment arrives, both of their lives are about to collide again, not as strangers, but as two souls tied together by fate, danger, and a secret that could destroy them both. But this time, he isn't bleeding. He's the one holding the weapon. And what happens next will challenge everything they think they know about loyalty, destiny, and the thin line between love and death. He had taken hundreds of lives, seen hundreds of faces, but none of them stayed with him like hers. For years, she existed only as a memory, a blurry silhouette under the rain, a warm voice telling him he wasn't going to die, hands pressing against his wound with desperate courage. He searched for her once, in the beginning, driven by a strange need to know her name. But that world wasn't meant for someone like her. So he buried the instinct, buried the memory, buried the feeling, until now. The organization didn't tolerate hesitation. Targets were assignments, not people. Names were irrelevant, faces were disposable. But when the photo slid across the table during the briefing, time stopped. It was her, Older, stronger, softer around the eyes, but still unmistakably her, the woman who had saved his life without knowing who he truly was. He should have refused the job, he should have walked away, but refusing an order meant execution. So he chose the only option that didn't lead to death. He accepted the mission, and promised himself he wouldn't pull the trigger. He would find her, warn her, protect her, even if she hated him for it. That. Tonight he tracked her to a small bookstore on the corner of Maple and 7th, a quiet place filled with warm light and old paper. She worked late, shelving books with a calm that didn't exist in his world. She looked safe, untouched by darkness, and he felt something twist sharply inside him. She didn't belong anywhere near someone like him. He watched through the window at first, hidden beneath the shadows of a flickering street lamp. Her hair fell loose over her shoulders. She hummed softly while organizing a display table. She smiled to herself at something she read. He realized he had been staring too long, realized he had forgotten the weight of the gun at his waist, realized he wasn't breathing. Finally, when the store closed and she stepped outside, locking the door, he followed. His footsteps were silent. Her keys jingled lightly as she walked toward the alley behind the store, a shortcut to her car. He stepped in front of her just as she turned the corner. She froze. The key ring fell from her hand. Her breath caught in her throat as she stared at the masked figure blocking her path. "Please don't scream," he said. Her heart pounded so loudly he could hear it. She took a step back, panic rising in her eyes. He lifted a hand slowly, the universal gesture of peace. "I'm not here to hurt you." His voice, deep, steady, slightly rough, stopped her cold. She knew that voice, not from this moment, not from this alley, but from years ago, under the rain, when she held a man who was dying. Her eyes narrowed, confusion replacing fear. "I know you," she whispered. The words hit him like a blow. He removed the mask. Her breath left her body in a sharp, trembling exhale. He was not the bleeding stranger she remembered, but those eyes, that jawline, that intensity, she could never forget. "You're alive," she said, barely audible. "Because of you." He took one step closer. She didn't run. Couldn't. Something inside her had locked her to the ground. "You saved my life," he continued, "and now I'm here to save yours." Her eyebrows tightened. "Save me? From what?" He hesitated, the truth heavy on his tongue. "From me." She took a shaky breath. I don't understand." He looked at her, with the kind of devastation only a man torn between two worlds can hold. "You were assigned to die tonight," he said softly, "but I won't let that happen." The silence that followed wasn't fear. It wasn't disbelief. It wasn't even shock. It was the first crack in the world she thought she understood. The moment the girl who once saved a stranger realized she had become the only thing keeping a monster human. And as the night wrapped around them like a closing fist, she knew one thing with absolute clarity. Nothing in her life would ever be the same again. Silence pressed in around them, thick and heavy. The kind of silence that doesn't come from lack of sound, but from too many truths colliding at once. She stared at him, heartbeat pounding in her ears. "Assigned to die," she repeated, as if the words would change if she said them out loud. He nodded once. "I was given a contract," he said. "Your name, your photo, your address, your routines, every detail of your life, wrapped in a file like you're just a task." Her hand instinctively went to her chest as if trying to hold something inside from breaking. "Why?" she whispered. "I'm not important. I'm not a politician. I'm not a witness. I own a bookstore. That's it." He studied her closely, and that hurt more than anything. The fact that she really believed she was nobody in a world that had marked her as dangerous enough to erase. "Important people don't get targeted because they're loud," he said. "They get targeted because they're quiet, and they know something they shouldn't." She frowned. "I don't know anything." "You saved a dying man on the side of the road," he reminded her. "A man who shouldn't have survived. A man whose enemies thought he was dead. Her throat tightened. "You," she whispered. He didn't deny it. "Whoever ordered the hit on you," he continued, "either realized you were involved that night or connected you to someone they want to hurt." She shook her head, overwhelmed. "I didn't tell anyone," she said. "I never told the police, I never told my friends, I didn't even tell my family. I just went home and tried to forget." He stared at her like that was the most impossible part. "You helped a stranger who was bleeding out and just moved on?" She met his gaze, anger and fear mixing in her eyes. "What was I supposed to do? Call and say, 'Hey, I helped a guy who looked like he'd been shot in a war'? Maybe check every criminal record in the city? You disappeared. They took you. I thought you died." His jaw clenched at that. He took a step back, scrubbed a hand over his face, exhaled slowly, like he was trying to hold himself together. "You need to leave this place," he finally said. "Tonight, right now. Pack a bag and disappear. Don't tell anyone where you're going. Don't answer unknown numbers. Don't come back here." She blinked. "You're telling me to run. I'm telling you to stay alive." Her mind raced. "And what about you?" she asked. "What happens to you if you fail the mission?" He gave a short, humorless laugh. "I don't fail missions." "That's not an answer." He met her gaze again. "If they realize I warned you," he said quietly, "they'll send someone to finish what I didn't, and then they'll come for me." Her stomach dropped. "So you're risking your life for me?" she asked, incredulous. He didn't hesitate. "I'm returning a debt," he said. "I owe you my life. You didn't ask questions. You just saved me. This is my one chance to pay that back." "By throwing yours away?" she snapped. "That's not how life works." "It's exactly how my life works." The distance between them was physical, a few steps of cold concrete. But emotionally, it felt like an abyss. She took a breath, gathered every ounce of courage she had. "What if I don't go?" she asked. His eyes darkened. "That's not an option." "It is," she insisted. "This is my home, my store, my life. You can't just walk in here and tell me to erase everything because your world is broken." He moved closer, his frustration surfacing. "You don't understand what they are," he said. "These people don't threaten. They don't warn. They don't give second chances. When your name is on a contract, it ends one of two ways. You die, or someone dies in your place." Her pulse stuttered. "In my place?" His silence confirmed it. He was volunteering to be that someone. She suddenly felt dizzy. "Why?" she whispered. "Why go this far for me?" For the first time, he didn't look at her like a mission or a memory. He looked at her like a man who had run out of excuses. "Because the night you saved me," he said, voice low and raw, "you were the first person in my entire life who didn't look at me like a weapon. You saw a human being bleeding in the street, and you chose to stay." His gaze was steady, almost painfully open. "And I can't be the reason the only good thing I've ever had in my life gets taken away." Her breath trembled. "Do you remember what I said to you that night?" she asked softly. He nodded. "You said, 'You're going to be okay,' even when I was drowning in my own blood." "And you were," she whispered. "I was," he agreed. "Because of you." The moment stretched, fragile and charged. She could feel the weight of his world pressing against hers, full of shadows, violence, and rules that didn't allow for feelings like this. And yet, here he was, standing in the alley behind her bookstore, telling her to run from a death he was supposed to deliver. "You're asking me to disappear," she said. "But what am I supposed to do? Where do I go? Who do I trust?" He hesitated. "Trust me," he said. "Just this once. Let me handle them. Let me—" He cut himself off, eyes lifting over her shoulder suddenly, body going rigid. She turned. A dark car had slowed at the end of the alley. Too slow. Too quiet. His voice dropped to a whisper. "It's too late," he said. "They're already watching." Her heart stopped. The warning he shouldn't have given had just turned into a countdown. The black car at the end of the alley didn't move at first. It simply sat there, idling, watching, waiting. The kind of waiting only professionals did. She felt the chill crawl up her spine. "Who are they?" she whispered. He didn't take his eyes off. The car. Observers. The organization sends them when they suspect a hitman might hesitate. "Hesitate," she repeated, incredulous. "It means they think I might not finish the job," he said quietly. "And when they think that, they send a second team, one to follow me, the other to finish the contract if I don't." The reality hit her like a punch to the chest. "So if you don't kill me," she whispered, "they will." He finally looked at her, and the fear in her eyes did something to him. Something he hadn't felt in years. "No," he said firmly, "I'm not letting that happen." She swallowed the rising panic. "What do we do?" His mind was already calculating 10 steps ahead. Every sound, every shadow, every angle of the alley. And then he made a decision that crossed a line he could never uncross. "We run," he said. "Now." He grabbed her hand, pulling her behind the dumpster, just as a second door on the black car opened. A man stepped out, tall, clean-cut, wearing a dark suit that didn't belong in alleys. He scanned the shadows like he already knew someone was there. "Stay close," the hitman whispered. She didn't argue, not because she trusted him, but because she didn't trust anyone else more. They moved silently between crates and trash bins as the man from the car took slow, calculated steps deeper into the alley. Another figure appeared from the passenger side, a woman this time, holding something small at her side. She didn't have time to see what it was, but she knew enough to guess. A weapon. They weren't here to observe anymore. They were here to eliminate. He tightened his grip on her hand. "We go through the back of the bakery," he murmured. "There's an emergency exit on the other side. Leads to a courtyard. I can get us out from there." "How do you know that?" "I've been watching this place for days," he admitted. "Ever since I got the assignment." A shiver ran through her. He had been close. Closer than she ever realized. He counted the agent's footsteps, waited for a shift in their angle, and then pulled her into a sprint. Their bodies moved as one through the narrow passageway. They slipped behind the bakery door just as a flashlight beam sliced across the alley wall where they'd been seconds earlier. Inside, the air smelled like flour and sugar, sweet and strangely comforting compared to the death waiting outside. He pushed her gently against the wall. "Don't breathe loud," he whispered. She tried, but her chest rose and fell rapidly. He stepped closer, placing one hand near her head, not touching but close enough that she felt his heat. "They'll check every building," he said. "They're not amateurs, and they're not stopping until they see a body." She closed her eyes. "This is because of me," she whispered. "No," he said sharply. "This is because of them." There was a new sound now, footsteps approaching the bakery door. He reacted instantly, grabbing her waist and guiding her behind a stack of flour bags. He crouched in front of her, shielding her with his body just as someone rattled the back door handle. She felt his breath on her cheek, felt the tension in his arms, felt the heat of him pressed protectively around her like a living barrier. Her heart hammered. He looked over his shoulder toward the door, jaw tightening. "If they come in," he whispered, "I fight. You run." "I'm not leaving you." "You will," he said, more raw than she expected. "You saved my life once. This time, I save yours." Before she could reply, a radio voice crackled outside. "Clear the bakery, they may have doubled back." He cursed under his breath. No more hiding. He took her hand again, this time intertwining their fingers in a way that felt too intimate for a moment so deadly. "When I say run," he said, "don't look back." "But don't look back." He moved fast, quicker than a shadow, quieter than breath. He opened the emergency exit with surgical precision, checking both sides of the courtyard. For a fraction of a second, it was empty. Then, a door on the opposite side burst open. 3 more agents. "Go!" he shouted. She ran. Her footsteps echoed against the brick walls, her breath tearing out of her lungs, her heart threatening to burst. Behind her, she heard the unmistakable sound of violence. Bones hitting walls, grunts, bodies colliding. She wanted to look back, but she didn't. Not until the last moment, when a quiet voice behind her said, "Keep running." She turned. He was limping, bleeding, but alive. And the 3 agents were on the ground, unmoving. He reached her side, grabbed her hand again. "This was supposed to be simple," he muttered. She stared at him, breathless. "Nothing about us is simple." For the first time that night, he didn't disagree. The safe house wasn't really a house. It was an abandoned mechanics garage on the outskirts of the city, one of the countless forgotten places he kept memorized in case a mission ever went sideways. Dust covered the floor. Rust clung to old tools hanging on the walls. The only light came from a small window near the ceiling. It wasn't warm, it wasn't comfortable, but for the first time that night, it was quiet. She stepped inside, breathing hard, adrenaline still burning through her veins. He followed behind her, closing the metal door and locking 3 heavy bolts. "You're bleeding," she said, noticing the trail of red on his arm. "It's nothing," he muttered. "That's never nothing." He didn't respond. He walked past her, grabbed a torn cloth from an old toolbox and pressed it to his wound, but she moved toward him, gently taking his wrist. "Sit," she ordered softly. For the first time, he didn't argue. He lowered himself onto a dusty workbench as she examined the cut. The wound wasn't deep, but the blood was steady. She tore a strip from her own shirt sleeve and wrapped it around his arm with practiced care, just like she had done years ago. Her hands trembled slightly, but they were steady where it mattered. He watched her the entire time, every blink, every breath, every movement of her fingers. "You shouldn't be doing this," he said, voice low. "Doing what?" "Helping me." She tied the cloth tightly and looked up. "You helped me." "That's different." "Why?" He hesitated, long enough for her to realize the answer mattered, long enough for the room to fill with a silence that felt too heavy for 2 people who barely knew each other, and yet were connected by something deeper. "Because," he finally said, "I was trained to survive. You weren't." Her brows furrowed. "That doesn't make my life less valuable." "No," he replied quietly. "It makes it more." She stepped back, startled by the intensity in his eyes. For a man who lived in shadows, he didn't hide well around her. "Why did you really come tonight?" she asked. "Was it only because of debt? Gratitude?" His jaw tightened, his hands curled into fists. He looked away as if the truth was a danger even he wasn't prepared to face. "I came," he said carefully, "because I couldn't let them erase you." "But why?" she insisted, voice trembling now. "Why me? Why risk your life for someone you met once, years ago, on a road you weren't supposed to survive?" He exhaled slowly, and the weight of something unspoken pulled his shoulders down. "You were the first person," he said, "to touch me with kindness." Her breath caught in her throat. He continued, voice rough, like the words were being torn from somewhere he'd buried deep. "My world is full of people who want something, fear, power, control. When you found me, you didn't want anything. You didn't ask who I was. You didn't care what I'd done. You cared that I was dying." She felt her heartbeat echo in her ears. "And when you told me I was going to be okay," he added softly, "I believed you. No one had ever made me believe anything good before." She swallowed hard. "That's why you're protecting me." He laughed under his breath, short, bitter, pained. "No, that's just why it started." Her stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" He looked at her then, really looked at her, and she froze, not because of fear, but because the expression in his eyes was something she didn't expect from a man like him. "When I saw your name on that assignment," he said, I felt something I wasn't supposed to feel. A pause. A long one. I felt fear. She blinked. Fear of... what? Fear that you'd die, he said simply. Fear that I'd be the one to do it. Fear that the world would lose you. Fear that I'd lose... He cut himself off abruptly, jaw clenching hard enough to tremble. She stepped closer. That you'd lose what? He stood abruptly, pacing like a predator trapped in a cage too small. I shouldn't be saying this, he muttered. You need to stay focused. We need to plan our next move. They'll track us eventually. The safe house won't last. Stop deflecting, she snapped. You said you'd lose something. What did you mean? He turned, cornered by her honesty. You, he said. The word hit the room like a gunshot. Her breath stuttered. He took a slow step toward her. I don't lose things, he said. I'm not allowed to. I was built not to. But when I realized who you were, when I realized they wanted you dead, another step. You became the one thing I couldn't lose. She felt her pulse flutter violently. I don't know what this is between us, he said, standing inches from her now, voice low, raw, unguarded. But I know it's dangerous. I know it's wrong. I know it puts a target on both of our backs. Her eyes lifted to meet his. And yet you're still here, she whispered. He exhaled, the truth finally bleeding through every wall he had. I'm here because I don't know how to walk away from you. The confession hung between them, charged, fragile, forbidden. And it was only the beginning. The moment hung between them, raw, electric, impossible to ignore. She didn't step back. He didn't step forward. They simply breathed in the same tense, stolen quiet, surrounded by the dust and shadows of the safe house. Then a sound shattered it, a faint vibration, her phone. She froze. He reacted instantly, hand on his holster, body snapping into defensive mode. Don't answer, he said, but something in her chest tightened. Instinct told her the call mattered. She reached into her pocket before he could stop her and looked at the screen. A single name flashed. Dad. Her heart slammed into her ribs. He saw the panic on her face. What is it? He demanded. It's my father. The district attorney, he asked sharply. She nodded, and suddenly everything shifted. He knew the organization's rules. He knew their targets. He knew their methods. If the DA was calling at this hour, something was wrong. But before he could say anything else, the phone stopped vibrating. She inhaled shakily. I have to call back, she whispered. He stepped in front of her, blocking her path. No, not yet. They might be monitoring his line, or your location. One call could bring them directly. Here. He's my father, she said, voice cracking. If something's happened, that's exactly why you can't call. Her pulse raced. Her skin went cold. What are you not telling me? He hesitated, only for a second, but it was enough. She understood. You knew, she whispered. You knew this wasn't just about me. I suspected, he admitted, but I wasn't sure. Suspected what? That the assignment wasn't only your name, but your family's. She stepped back as if he'd slapped her. No, she said. No, they wouldn't. They would, he cut in. If they think he interfered in something, if he pushed a case too far, or if they want to send a message. Her breathing hitched. We have to warn him. He shook his head. If they're already watching him, any contact from you puts a target on your back and his. She pressed her hands to her face. This is insane, she whispered. This isn't just criminals. This is an organization, he said. They infiltrate systems, not streets. They remove obstacles, not witnesses. And if your father is on their radar, it means he got too close to something he shouldn't. She dropped onto a dusty crate, trembling. How long have you known this? She asked. I didn't know, he insisted. I only realized when I saw your photo. They never assign a civilian out of nowhere. There's always a chain, a connection. Her eyes lifted slowly. and me helping you years ago. Does that connect us? No, he said, but your father might. He could see the fear take hold of her. Real fear, not the kind from alley chases or masked men. This was deeper, breaking, personal. He crouched in front of her. Listen to me. We'll figure this out. But we can't walk into this blind. The phone vibrated again. Her stomach dropped. Same name. Dad. Her hand hovered over the screen. Let me answer, she whispered. If he's in danger, I have to... He grabbed her wrist gently but firmly. Put it on speaker, he said, and don't say where you are. She nodded with a trembling breath and pressed accept. Dad? Static crackled, then a shaky, strained voice. Sweetheart, are you safe? Her heart nearly stopped. Dad, what's going on? What happened? He coughed, a deep, painful sound. I can't talk long. Something's wrong. I'm being followed. I didn't want to call you, but I had no choice. Her eyes filled with tears. Where are you? No details, he said urgently. Phones aren't safe. Just tell me, have you noticed anything strange recently? Anyone watching? You? Anything out of place? She looked at the hitman. He stared right back, jaw clenched. Yes, she whispered. A beat of silence. Then her father said something that made her blood run cold. Don't trust anyone from law enforcement. Anyone. They're everywhere. And whoever is after me won't stop with me. The hitman stood up fast, pacing now. Her father's breathing grew ragged. Listen to me, he said. If something happens to me... Dad, stop. You run. Do you understand? You run and you... Never look back. The line cut, just like that. Gone. She stared at the phone in her hand as if it might bring him back. No, she whispered. No, no, no. Her knees buckled, but the hitman caught her before she hit the floor. Breathe, he said urgently. Stay with me. He's in danger, she cried, and it's because of me. It's because of them, he corrected softly. And now we know one thing for sure. He lifted her chin gently so she would look at him. Your father knew he was marked. Her heart hammered painfully. What do we do now? She whispered. He didn't look away. We find out why he was targeted, he said, and we do it before the organization does. Because now it wasn't one life in danger. It was two. And the hitman had just crossed a line he could never return from. He'd chosen her side. The silence after the call felt louder than any scream. She stayed in his arms for a long moment, breathing in shallow, trembling bursts, while he held her as if he were the only barrier between her and a world collapsing around her. But time wasn't their ally, and the hitman knew it. He pulled back, cupping her face gently, forcing her to meet his eyes. We need answers, he said. Real ones, and we won't find them hiding here. She wiped her tears, trying to regain control. My father said not to trust law enforcement. He said they're everywhere. What does that mean? He hesitated, not because he wasn't sure, but because he hated what he had to say. It means someone inside the system is working with the organization, someone close enough to know your father's moves, close enough to know yours. She shook her head. No, that's impossible. My father is the district attorney. His team is loyal. His office is protected. That's exactly why they'd infiltrated, he countered. Power is useless if you don't control the gatekeepers. The words hit her harder than a blow. She sank onto the metal stool, her hands trembling. So, someone my father worked with, someone I may have met, helped target us. Not helped, he corrected softly. Directed. Her breath caught. Directed. He nodded. Someone within the DA's office fed the organization information, your father's schedule, his investigations, his cases, until they found something they didn't like. She swallowed hard. What was he working on? What got him targeted? He stepped closer, lowering his voice. What case was he obsessed with lately? What file couldn't he put down? She closed her eyes, thinking. He mentioned corruption, she whispered. A leak inside his office. He said he was chasing something big, but he didn't tell me details. That's because he couldn't trust anyone, the hitman said. Not even his own staff. Her hands flew to her mouth. Oh my God, he was trying to protect me from this. Yes, he said, and now we have to finish what he started. Before she could respond, something buzzed loudly in the garage. A phone. Not hers, not his. They both froze. He turned, slowly toward the workbench, where an old burner phone lay inside a crate of parts, something he had placed there long ago as backup. It was ringing. He lifted a hand to stop her from moving, then walked to the phone carefully, like approaching a bomb. He picked it up, didn't speak. A calm voice came through the speaker. You failed your assignment. Her stomach dropped. It was the organization. The hitman didn't answer. The target is still alive, the voice continued, and your observers have gone silent. That means you eliminated them. She felt the blood drain from her face. He finally spoke. What do you want? A small pause. Your contract has changed. He clenched his jaw. How? The answer froze both of them. You now have two targets. Her and her father. Her breath hitched like she'd been stabbed. The voice continued calmly. Finish both assignments within 24 hours. Or we send someone else. He looked at her, and for the first time, fear flickered in his eyes. Not for himself, for her. The voice wasn't done. And don't bother running. We know exactly where you are. The call disconnected. The burner phone went dead. A suffocating silence filled the room. She looked at him with wide, breaking eyes. They want you to kill both of us. He dropped the phone onto the table, anger tightening every muscle in his body. They think I'll follow orders, he said darkly. They think I'll choose them over you. She stepped closer. Will they send someone else if you don't? Yes? Someone worse? Yes? Her voice trembled. What do we do? He didn't hesitate. We stopped running. She blinked. What? He turned fully toward her, dangerous, determined, transformed. We go after the leak, he said. Whoever betrayed your father, whoever fed them information, we find them, and we end this before they end you. She stared at him, heart pounding. You want to fight the organization? His voice dropped to a growl. I want to destroy anyone who thinks they can take you from me. For a moment she couldn't breathe, not because of fear, but because of the raw truth in his eyes. He reached for her hand, not gently, not hesitantly, but like a vow. They made a mistake coming after you, he said quietly. She swallowed. And my father. He squeezed her hand. We'll find him before they do. Her breath trembled. We have 24 hours. He nodded once. Then we shouldn't waste a second. The hitman and the girl who once saved him, about to go to war with the most powerful shadow organization in the country, together. And this time, they had nothing left to lose. They didn't waste another second. The hitman grabbed a backpack hidden under an old tool chest, one he kept stocked for emergencies. She followed him out of the safe house, her steps shaky but determined. She wasn't the same frightened woman he found behind the bookstore anymore. Fear was still there, but now it lived beside something else. Purpose. Because somewhere out there, her father was running for his life, and they had less than 24 hours to find him. They moved through the outskirts of the city, avoiding main roads and security cameras. When they reached an abandoned parking structure, he finally stopped. This is where we start, he said, pulling out a battered laptop and connecting it to a portable signal scrambler. She frowned. What is this place? A blind spot, he said. No cameras, no tracking, no signal leaks. But what are we looking for? He opened a file, one he shouldn't have had. A file with the DA's official seal. My organization gave me access to everything about your father, he said. Everything, including what he was investigating. Her pulse quickened. Show me. He clicked. A folder expanded. Hundreds of documents, photos, audio transcriptions, financial reports, encrypted messages. Her father had been building a case, a massive one. What is all this? She asked. Corruption, he said. Judges, officers, politicians, even federal agents. She covered her mouth with her hand. He listed names, he continued. People in high places, tied directly to the organization. She felt sick. And someone inside his office was feeding that case to the wrong people, he added. Tears stung her eyes, but she held them back. Who? She whispered. He hesitated, then opened the last subfolder. Leak. Suspects. The list was short. Only 3 names, but one of them made her blood run cold. Assistant District Attorney, Mark Relman. She staggered back. No, she whispered. No, that can't be right. He's been with my father for years. He's like family. That's exactly why he had access, the hitman said quietly. Your father trusted him, which made him the perfect leak. She shook her head violently. No, he came to our house. He ate dinner with us. He brought me birthday gifts. He used to carry me on his shoulders when I was little. He placed a hand gently on her arm, grounding her. People like this don't betray. Strangers, he said, they betray the ones closest to them. That's what gives them power. Her voice cracked. How long has Mark been working with them? The hitman clicked another encrypted file. It opened to a single line. Asset. 12 years active. Her breath stopped. 12 years? He nodded. She sank onto a concrete block, her hands trembling uncontrollably. All this time, she whispered, he was in our home. He knew everything. Everything. He fed the organization every move your father made, the hitman said. Every witness he protected, every case he touched, every threat he ever received. She closed her eyes. And if my father's running right now, she whispered, Mark knows exactly where he'd go. The hitman nodded. Yes. Which means we need to get to that location first. She stood abruptly, adrenaline flooding her veins. Then let's go. He caught her wrist. There's more. She turned slowly, already exhausted by revelations she wasn't ready to face. What more? She whispered. He opened one final file, a recording, her father's voice. If you're hearing this, then Mark betrayed me. Her chest tightened. Her father continued, voice heavy with exhaustion and fear. I found the evidence. Everything. The money transfers, the offshore accounts, the connection to the organization. Her knees shook, and they know I found it. A long, shaky breath. Sweetheart. If something happens to me, don't trust anyone from the office, not even Mark, especially Mark. Her hand covered her mouth as a soft sound escaped her, a broken, silent cry. I'm leaving everything with someone I trust, someone who can keep it safe until you get there. She frowned. With who? She whispered. The hitman clicked the end of the recording. Nothing more. She stared at him, panic rising again. Do you know what place he meant or who he left it with? He exhaled slowly. Yes. Her heart pounded. Well, who is it? He met her gaze, and the answer in his eyes chilled her to the bone. Your father left the evidence with someone the organization is hunting right now. She swallowed. Who? He stepped closer. Your father's brother. Her eyes widened. My uncle, but he disappeared years ago. My father said he moved away. He didn't, the hitman said. He went into hiding. And now, the organization knows. Her breath trembled. Which means, he finished, they're going after him the same way they're going after you. The weight of the truth crashed down on her. This wasn't just betrayal. This wasn't just a contract, this was a purge. and she and her father, Gan, were on the top of the list. The moment the hitman revealed her uncle's involvement, everything inside her froze. "My uncle," she whispered. "He vanished. We never heard from him again." "He didn't vanish," the hitman said. "He ran, and your father helped him disappear." "But why?" He opened another file. Grainy surveillance photos, old record logs, faded IDs. "Because your uncle was the first person to uncover the organization, long before your father ever got close." Her skin prickled. "My father lied," she whispered, "about where he went." "He lied to protect you," the hitman replied, "and to protect his brother." She steadied herself. "Where is he now?" The hitman zoomed in on a blurry satellite image, a remote cabin tucked deep in the mountains, surrounded by pine trees and snow. "A safe house," he said. "Your father's backup location. Your uncle's been using it for years." She swallowed hard. "Do they know he's there?" "Not yet," the hitman said, "but they will." She felt her pulse drop. "What makes you so sure?" His voice darkened. "Because the organization doesn't lose loose ends. And your uncle is the last person alive who knows the full truth about how they operate." She took a step back, the weight of it all hitting her. "So we're going to him," she said. "Yes," the hitman replied, "but we have to move fast. If we're slow, they'll find him first." She hesitated. "If it's a trap." "It is," he said bluntly. "Everything about this situation is a trap. But your uncle has something we need, something your father believed could take them down. We don't have another choice." He grabbed his gear, slipped on a tactical jacket, checked his weapon. Then he turned to her. "You ready?" She nodded, even though every cell in her body screamed she wasn't. The road into the mountains. They left the city under cover of night. Miles passed in silence, broken only by the hum of the engine and the storm clouds gathering above the mountains. The deeper they drove, the more isolated the world became. Trees swallowed the road. Fog thickened like smoke. Snow began to fall in slow, heavy flakes. She hugged her arms around herself. "What was my uncle like?" she asked quietly. The hitman kept his eyes on the road. "A good man," he said. "Too good for the job he was doing. He got too close to the truth, and when he did, he became a threat." She stared through the window. "And he's still alive? For now." The car rounded a bend in the mountain road. A lone cabin appeared in the distance, barely visible through the fog. A single lantern flickered in the window. "That's it," the hitman said. Her breath hitched. "It looks empty," she whispered. "Good safe houses always do." They parked far from the cabin and approached on foot. Snow crunched under their boots. The air was biting, sharp, deadly still. When they reached the porch, he raised his hand, signaling her to stop. "What is it?" she whispered. He crouched, brushing his fingers across the wooden step. Tracks, fresh ones. Her throat tightened. "They're already here?" she whispered. He shook his head slowly. "No, not yet." He pointed to the direction of the tracks, leading away from the cabin, not toward it. Someone had left one recently. "Your uncle's alive," he said. "He ran." She stepped forward, panic rising. "Then where is he? Did something happen?" He opened the cabin door cautiously. Inside was quiet. Too quiet. Pot still warm on the stove. A chair knocked over. Papers scattered across the floor. A jacket missing from a hook. "He left in a hurry," the hitman muttered. "But why?" she whispered. He scanned the small room, then froze. On the wall above the desk, carved into the wood with a pocket knife, were two words: "Don't trust." The carving stopped abruptly, as if interrupted. She felt her knees weaken. "Don't trust who?" she asked. The hitman looked around slowly, then lifted his gaze to hers. "It wasn't your uncle who carved that," she paled. "What do you mean?" He pointed to the shape of the letters. "They were carved by someone with a dominant left hand. Your uncle is right-handed." Her stomach dropped. "So who wrote it?" The hitman stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Your father." She felt the blood drain from her face. No, that's not possible. He wouldn't come here. He wouldn't lead danger to his own brother. The hitman's jaw tightened. He didn't come here to hide. He came to warn him. Her heart clenched. And now? He looked toward the window where fresh snow was beginning to erase the tracks. Now, he said, they're both running. She swallowed hard. And we're already behind. He studied the abandoned room, the dark forest outside, the fading tracks that could vanish at any moment. Then he met her gaze. This cabin isn't a refuge, he said. It's a message and a trap. She shivered. For who? For us. And as the wind howled against the cabin walls, she finally realized they weren't just following danger. Danger was leading them. Snow fell harder now, thick flakes swirling like ash in a storm. The hitman scanned the fading footprints outside the cabin, calculating distance, direction, timing. But the snow was swallowing everything too fast. We need to move, he said. Your father and your uncle can't be far. She wrapped her jacket tighter, breath coming out in white clouds. Do you think they left together? He shook his head. No, the footprints are different sizes, different depths. Your father was here first, your uncle followed alone. They're separated. She swallowed, nerves tightening around her ribs. Then we have two people to find. He gave a tight nod. And only hours before the organization reaches them. They jogged back to the car, boots crunching through the icy ground. But as they approached the vehicle, the hitman suddenly grabbed her arm and pulled her back behind a tree. She almost screamed. What? He put a hand over her mouth, eyes fierce. The woods were silent, too silent. Then she heard it. A distant click. Metal. Mechanical. Intentional. Her blood went cold. Someone's here, she whispered. He didn't answer. Instead, he dropped to one knee, examining the snow around the car. There, tiny holes in the snow, precise, perfectly spaced, bullet casings. Get down, he ordered, pressing her lower. He scanned the tree line again. They've been watching this place longer than we have. Her heartbeat hammered. But how? How did they know we'd come? He exhaled sharply. They didn't know we would. They knew your father would. And they're waiting for him. No, he said grimly. They're waiting for anyone connected to him. She felt her stomach twist painfully. Which includes us. He pointed to the snow off to the right, barely perceptible marks of movement. Positions, 3 shooters, 1 on the ridge, 2 flanking downhill. She whispered, terrified. They're setting up a crossfire. Yes, he said quietly. Classic ambush formation? The realization hit her all at once. If we had walked straight to the car, we'd be dead. Yes. A gust of wind sent needles of snow across their skin, and in the distance she saw something glint between the trees. A scope. They were out of time. We need to retreat, she said, chest tightening. But the hitman shook his head. No, retreating gives them higher ground. Then what do we do? He grabbed her shoulders, making her meet his eyes. We break the ambush. She nearly choked. What break? You want to attack the people trying to kill us? It's not an attack, he said. It's survival. Her breath trembled. There are 3 of them. His voice dropped to a tone she had never heard from him before. Cold, precise, lethal. There were 3 at the bakery, too. She remembered the bodies in the courtyard, the violence, the speed. But I can't fight, she whispered. You don't need to. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small, metal device, a remote signal jammer. He placed it in her hand. When I tell you, press the button. That will break their communication. They'll panic for a few seconds. And then you run into the trees. Don't stop, don't turn around. She grabbed his wrist. What about you? He couldn't hide the truth this time. They want me alive if I fail the assignment. They want you dead. That gives you a chance. No, she said fiercely. I'm not leaving you again. You won't be, he said. Not if we survive this. His voice cracked just slightly, enough that she knew he wasn't afraid of dying. He was afraid of her dying. She tightened her grip on the jammer. "Tell me what to do." He nodded once, sharp, controlled. Then everything happened at once. He sprinted out of cover, drawing their fire, snow exploding around his boots as bullets slammed into the ground. She ducked instinctively, heart in her throat. The shooters revealed themselves, 3 shadows on the ridge moving with deadly coordination. She pressed the button. A pulse of static vibrated through the air. The shooters faltered, radios crackled, confusion spread like wildfire. "Run!" he shouted. She bolted into the trees, branches ripping at her clothes, snow blurring her vision. Behind her came the sound of combat. Gunfire, grunts, bodies slamming into frozen earth. She didn't look back. She couldn't. But the sounds got worse. A shout, a body hitting the ground, a pained groan she recognized instantly. "No, no!" she cried, skidding to a stop. Against every survival instinct she had, she turned around, and what she saw stole the breath from her lungs. The hitman was on his knees in the snow, blood trailing from his shoulder, as one of the shooters pressed a gun to the back of his head. Her scream tore through the mountain air. He lifted his gaze, just enough to see her. His lips moved silently. "Run." But she couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't leave him. Because she knew, if she ran now, he would die in her place. For a second, she couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The snowstorm howled around her, the wind slicing against her skin, but all she could see was him, on his knees, hands tied behind his back, blood running down his arm as a gun pressed into the base of his skull. The hitman who wasn't supposed to care, the hitman who wasn't supposed to feel, the hitman who broke every rule to save her. "You should have finished the contract," the lead shooter growled, tightening his grip on the weapon. "Now she dies anyway, and so do you." The hitman didn't flinch, didn't beg, didn't fight the inevitable. Instead, he lifted his eyes, found her through the roaring storm, and shook his head slowly. "Run." But she didn't. Something inside her snapped, fear melting into fire, terror turning into rage. She had spent her whole life believing she wasn't the kind of person who made impossible choices. She was wrong. She stepped out from behind the trees. The shooter jerked his head toward her. "Well, well," he smirked, "the princess joins us." Her boots sank into the snow as she walked forward, hands trembling, not with fear, but with fury. "Let him go," she said, voice steady despite the storm raging inside her. The shooter laughed. "Oh, sweetheart, you really don't understand how this works, do you?" He aimed the gun at her chest. The hitman lunged, but another shot fired near his feet, forcing him back to his knees. "Don't!" he shouted, panic breaking. Through his voice for the first time, "Don't come closer." But she did. The shooter cocked his head, amused. "I like you," he said. "Too bad you're worth more dead than alive." She took one more step, and then something unexpected happened. Her boot hit metal, a buried alarm sensor, one the hitman had installed years ago when this cabin was still a fallback point. A motion-triggered device tied directly to a defensive measure the shooters didn't know existed. She froze. The hitman's eyes widened. He recognized the sound. "Get down!" he shouted. She dropped to the ground instinctively. A split second later, boom! A flash grenade detonated under the snow just behind the shooters, a blinding pulse of white light erupting across the ridge. The ambush team screamed, stumbling back, clutching their eyes. The hitman didn't hesitate. In one fluid motion, he surged upward, slammed his shoulder into the shooter holding the gun, knocking him to the ground. Another attacker lunged, blade raised, but the hitman twisted, using the man's own momentum to flip him into the snow. The storm became a battlefield of shadows and chaos. She scrambled to her feet, running toward the initial shooter. He was disoriented, trying to lift his gun. She kicked it out of his hand with every ounce of strength she had. The hitman caught her wrist. "Behind you!" She spun. A third attacker charged. The hitman threw himself between them, taking the blow meant for her. They crashed into the snow. He grappled, fought, rolled, until he ripped the attacker's rifle free and slammed the butt into the man's temple. The forest went quiet. Only the storm remained. Her breaths came out in ragged gasps. Snowflakes melted on her hot, trembling skin. The hitman staggered to his feet, blood dripping from his mouth. "You shouldn't have come back," he said, voice hoarse. She stepped closer, tears burning in her eyes. "You told me not to look back," she whispered, "but I looked anyway." He closed his eyes. Briefly, pained, grateful, undone. "You could have died. So could you." He stared at her, chest heaving. Lightning cracked overhead. "You saved me," he said. "You saved me first," she answered. The storm swirled between them, snow turning like embers. Their worlds, once separated by laws, bullets, and impossible choices, had collapsed into one impossibly dangerous path, a path they now stood on together. He reached out slowly, as if touching something he wasn't supposed to want. His hand brushed her cheek. She leaned into it. For the first time since she found him in that alley, he didn't hide what he felt. "They'll come for us," he said. "All of them." She nodded. "And we'll be ready." He let out a shaky breath. This is only the beginning. A rumble of thunder rolled behind them. She took his hand. "Then we don't face the beginning alone." The hitman who was never meant to feel, and the woman he was never meant to save, standing in the snow, holding on to the only thing left that felt real, each other. And in that moment, with danger closing in, with a war waiting for them beyond the mountain, their story didn't end. It ignited.